Wow, that is really lame. It did it again. Why does it keep doing this, man? Uh, why the fuck does it keep doing this? Oh well. Well, great. Now we get to do it this hard ass fucking way because even though I pressed the damn button, it don't want to do what I told it to do. So here we are. We get to hold the phone like a fucking hillbilly this entire fucking live stream because I'm too stupid to do things the right way. Welcome back, everybody. Here we are, gone live before the Lions versus Bucks week 2 big matchup at the Motor City, playing rematch of last year's playoff matchup where wasn't necessarily the closest or it wasn't the most blowout of games. It was a little closer than we wanted, and that was where Derek Barnes really slammed the door shut against the Buccaneers there in Baker Mayfield. Speaking of Derek Barnes, I did read that he is projected to get a little bit more playing time today. I just seen on the ticker there, I'm watching NFL Network in the background here, where Marcus Davenport is inactive. So what I had been building up and was thinking was the veteran type rest day for him actually turned out to be the guy's dinged up. He is inactive this week. Also, Isaiah Williams is out. Enos Rakestraw Jr. I see the chat talking about Enos Rakestraw Jr. Enos Rakestraw Jr. also hurt. He will not be playing today. That leaves us a little light in the secondary, a little light on defense. We've also, we know that Ife Melifonwu is continuing to be out, so our safety position is going to be a little bit lighter in the pants than we like to be. And now with Rakestraw Jr. out, that leaves a little bit more vulnerability in our secondary against a really dynamic 1 and 2 wide receiver, and Jalen McMillan really coming along nicely for the Tampa Bay Bucks. Does that bode well for us? Can we shut that down being a little bit lighter? Let's see. Nowitzki's out. Giovanni Manu's out. Colby Sorsdal's also out. Isaiah Williams, Marcus Davenport. So Davenport's out. Reports early this week, when asked about that, Dan Campbell was talking about guys stepping up. James Houston was kind of left off that list, so I don't think the staff is sold on James Houston anymore. I think James Houston kind of worked his way onto the roster and didn't really earn a spot, but was just kind of the last man standing. So we might see a little bit more Derek Barnes action at a rush edge spot. He has played that role in the past, if you remember early on, in Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell's tenure running the organization. Derek Barnes is getting a little bit more of a blitzing linebacker role and has kind of moved more into a pass coverage role. But now with the inactives, especially, Marcus Davenport being out really sucks because he's a real physical defensive end that helps really collapse the pocket around to a coming off the edge with his hair on fire Aiden Hutchinson. Does Marcus Davenport being out really cripple us that hard? Who steps up? Is it Derek Barnes? Is it going to be, Pascal going to step up? With DJ Reader being back, which is the number one thing we wanted to look at today, is DJ Reader making his debut with the Detroit Lions. Does this now allow a little bit more ability for a Levi to rotate out to play that big end position? Maybe we see a little bit of Wingo getting some run there. Can we really get a good rush on this this offensive line? Missing Marcus Davenport. I like to think so. We were able to do it last year with relative success with a less talented defensive team. Our secondary is going to be a lot better, although we are missing Rakestraw Jr. and Melifonwu, both inactive. I'm just trying to watch the inactives as they're coming across the screen behind me right now. So let's look at there's a little article out here from Tim 20Man. I kind of like Tim 20Man and the thing that the articles that he writes generally, not all the time. I'm not like a stan for him, but generally he's kind of a really insightful guy. He's been around the organization for a long, long time, but he's got a list of 5 things to watch for. Normally, I'd have this up on the screen, but I didn't bring all my gear in to do all this, so we're just doing it kind of hillbilly style. You guys can just hang with me. Slap like if you enjoy what's going on here. But number one thing Tim 20man's got for us to watch is, we just talked about it, DJ Reader making his debut for the Detroit Lions. What kind of an addition does this make for us? Does this help us with? The Tampa Bay offensive line is pretty solid, especially in the middle. Graham Barton there graded out as one of the best offensive linemen in the NFL last week, but now he's got to deal with we've been talking about it all offseason, a big wide ass in DJ Reader. DJ Reader's going to be able to come in, use a veteran presence, and really wreak havoc on the young man. Remember that this team is coming in to play in a very hostile field. Over the years, we've seen Ford Field develop into this monstrosity of a place to play where nobody really wants to get in and get gritty with it, right? Well, we're here to get gritty with it, and I expect DJ Reader to really just explode all over a inexperienced, although talented offensive line with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, allowing, DJ Reader being able to get a big push up the middle that opens up Lee McNeil to do his thing, being a little bit more of an athletic defensive tackle, and then Aiden Hutchinson obviously being able to do his thing. Does he take advantage of Tristan Wirfs, who is a top 5 tackle in the NFL? He did give up a sack to old Detroit Lions player Cleveland Farrell last week, which is kind of interesting to see. So can Hutch take advantage of that? Can he finally get home? Does the conditioning of our defense help or hinder us moving forward like it did last week, where you've seen a little bit of guys, kind of sucking wind come mid-third quarter? Are we able to finally break through that? Back to the article at hand, Tim 20man says Lions fans will get their first look at Detroit Lions free agent acquisition this offseason. DJ Reader set to make his debut against the Bucs after being inactive. Major Johnson. Hey, Major Johnson. What's up, dude? Welcome to the chat, bro. Hopefully you're here to support the Lions. If you're a Bucs fan, that's cool too, man. We're just here to make content. So if you like what we do here, slap like, dude. Maybe subscribe to the channel if you enjoy what we're doing here. I know it's a little bit of a hillbilly setup here. Let's go Chiefs. All right, man. Hey, dude, I'm not a Chiefs fan, bro. And I used to be really anti-Patrick Mahomes, but I got to admit, dude, over the past, few months, the way that Patrick Mahomes has really just kind of come out and been very Michael Jordan, everybody buys sneakers too, really just kind of elevated himself above all the political nonsense and just continues to take the high road over and over and over again. It seems either he has the best PR team coaching him up, or he is one of the most genuine motherfuckers in the NFL. Which is starting to kind of bring me around to Patrick Mahomes a little bit. Starting to kind of be, I'm 51, been following KC since Steve DeBerg was the QB. Right on, dude. All right, so you'll get this, man. I used to be a big Chiefs fan, back in the day when Trent Green was their quarterback. I was a huge Priest Holmes fan, dude. I thought Priest Holmes was awesome, bro. Go Lions. Hell yeah, Major Johnson. Go Lions. That's what's up, dude. All right, so we were talking about, the DJ Reader making his debut for the Lions. We talked about it all last week. He's the man. The Lions defense coordinator Aaron Glenn said of Reader this week, when it comes to the run game, he's going to be a huge addition to us. That is a huge addition to us in the run game. However, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers don't necessarily have the most electrifying running game, though they do have a very talented duo in Bucky Irving, the rookie out of Oregon, who had some splash plays last week. And undrafted Priest Holmes. Yeah, dude, undrafted Priest Holmes. Exactly. Grind his way through the NFL. Super underrated in the grand scheme. Kind of gets lost in the sauce of a bunch of running backs because I think Priest Holmes played in the last golden age of running backs. I think we're actually going to start to come into a new golden age of running backs as defenses continue to deploy a too high or a cover 2 shell with trying to stop big plays from really mitigate the passing attack of the offenses that we've seen develop over the past 10 years of the NFL. So the way to counter that is to evolve, or in this sense, look at the past and what was successful, and that is to take advantage of your safeties being back, maybe bring in some more physical running backs. We're starting to see a trend in the physicality of running backs trending upwards and getting away from your more scat back style. That's why, David Montgomery's been able to have such success. You're seeing guys that need to be a little bit more durable, a little bit more physical. You're not seeing the big gaudy passing numbers anymore. You're seeing I don't want to say regression, but a back to the mean. We on this channel like to say, make fullbacks great again, right? We missed the day of fullbacks. He had a great O-line in KC too. Great back though. Dude, he did have a really dominant offensive line, a real dominant offensive line. And that was back in the day, so I was real young back in the Priest Holmes days. Excuse me. I feel like that was middle school for me around there. And I just remember watching KC play. They'd be playing outdoors no less. And it would just be this gritty, just physical, in your face, Tony Gonzalez, you know what I'm saying? Priest Holmes smashing it. Larry Johnson had to, take his diaper off and learn how to play like the big boy that he was, being a first-round pick out of Penn State, you know what I'm saying? Those were the days, dude. Those were the days. But I think the NFL is going to start to see a transition back to a more physical smash mouth style offense for the next 3 to 5 years. someone will come along and reinvent the vertical passing game, and we'll see a transition back then to a more. You've seen it happen. Who really started this high octane offense? Could it be that we have been dealing with this for 20 years, starting with the madman Mike Martz in St. Louis with the greatest show on turf? Is that where this high octane, big time points offense started? Has it been 20 years of evolution to the point where now we're seeing, after 20 years of high octane, Patrick Mahomes, big gaudy passing numbers, even the NFL itself bending and forcing the rules to allow more dynamic plays, more points, more highlights, more viewers, more money, more revenue, to now a old school style, guys like me who are in our mid 30s who miss a smash mouth style of football, who miss the physicality of it, who hate the new kickoff rule. Are we going to see a transition back to physical football? I like to think so. You're seeing a little bit more of a deployment of running backs or of fullbacks in the NFL. You're seeing a uptick in away from needing a strictly receiving tight end to a guy who can do both very, very well, which is why guys like Sam Laporta have succeeded so well. You're seeing an uptick in tight ends being taken higher and higher in the draft because although they are physical wide receivers, they have been able to put enough lead in their ass to be not a dominant force, but a piece that you have to account for in the running game. You know what I'm saying? So I like to see the transition to it. Hopefully that doesn't happen today for the Bucs, right? Hopefully DJ Reader can come up here. The Lions were terrific up front with their front seven last week against the Rams. We generated 27 pressures and 12 hits. So, if you watch the game, Stafford was on his tookus most of the day. I'm trying to open my pack of Zyn here one-handed because I didn't put the stream up right, so I can't go horizontal on the phone. And put it in my stand. So if there's a little shaky right now, it's because I'm trying to open my Zins real quick. Because, guys, hey, fellers. Thanks for looking up my nose real quick there. We have been a week now off the vapes. So we're trying to just be done with the vaporizers and just be a Zyn guy. You know what I'm saying? And it works out pretty well. So, there's a nice little highlight of Sam Laporta warming up. Oh yeah, dude. I think Laporta's going to get a TD this week. We targeted him early on last week, right in the back of the end zone. It was just a little too high, a little erratic. I think Laporta can take advantage of Levante David. My opinion, the Lions offense picks up exactly where they left off last week, right in overtime, where it was just bam, 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 crisp, sharp, physical, playing the type of ball that we like to play, that we know the Lions can play. So, defensively, I hope we match up. We're watching for the DJ. I keep trying to get through this article, and I just keep getting off in the weeds here, fellas. I just keep talking. So, if you like what we're doing here, go ahead and smash like, comment down below, subscribe to the channel. Pet my dog real quick. One of them, she wanted to come say hi. Come say hi, fish. Hi, fish. Yeah, so that's the fish. So the next thing, DJ Reader's who we're going to watch. Big thing we've been talking about all week, and it kind of hinders us a little bit not having Rakestraw Jr. or Iffy Melifonwu being available, and that is, are we going to be able to slow down the Bucs passing attack? Because everything I just said about running backs and the evolution of the running game into the NFL, Baker Mayfield and the Rams kind of did Baker Mayfield and the Bucs kind of did the exact opposite of that. They were one of the few teams. I think, didn't Baker Mayfield lead the NFL in touchdown passes last week? He was only one of like 2 or 3 guys to throw more than 2 touchdown passes. So the Bucs, though, having a physical, strong, very talented offensive line, don't necessarily have the physical running backs to go along with it. They do kind of end up transitioning into being a pass-happy team in the NFL. Not a bad thing. They're able to make it work. They have hyper-talented wide receivers, too. Mike Evans, I've been just fawning over Mike Evans all week long because Mike Evans is one of my favorite wide receivers in the NFL. I, of course, wanted him to be our replacement for Calvin Johnson. Sorry, I'm trying to move some stuff around here on my computer, and that's why, because I'm stupid and I type stupid things. I was trying to figure out what was going on my laptop here. I think Mike Evans is on a Hall of Fame trajectory. 10 plus years of over 1,000 yards. He's a big physical wide receiver who doesn't really seem to have missed a step. Can Carlton Davis stop him? Can Terrion Arnold bottle him up and limit his production? Will we be able to keep Chris Godwin from tearing us apart over the middle, down, really getting the yak? Do our linebackers are they able to hold the zone and really mitigate the short game passing attack that then gets utilized as a running game? Because we know our rush defense is super, 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 super stout. We are very stingy in the run. We're only going to get better with Reeder being back, and the Bucs don't run the ball well. So, can we slow down the passing attack? Does this turn into a track meet? If it gets into a track meet, I think we're healthier on the back end than the Buccaneers are. It's just that, like, I am worried about the rookie Terrion Arnold, though. The more I think about it, I know earlier in the week I was all, Terrion Arnold's going to have a coming out party, a couple of picks on Baker. I think he still makes some plays, but when you really look at Baker Mayfield, he is ascended to being a better quarterback than he was even 2 years ago, and you match him up with a future Hall of Fame wide receiver in Mike Evans. I mean, Mike Evans is going to get his. He's gonna take advantage of Terrion Arnold. They already kind of know what Carlton Davis likes to do from his familiarity with the organization. Last year, the year before, we traded for him out of Tampa. I like to think our secondary plays better. I like to think we slow him down. We were inches away. Brian Branch was a couple inches away last week from having 2 beautiful INTs. You know what I'm saying? I like to think Brian Branch gets a couple takeaways. I think our defense is going to be a lot more stingy this week. I think what you've seen both offensively and defensively was just a lot of rust on players. I've been saying it kind of a little bit all week that we didn't really have our starters get very many, if any, reps in the preseason. So you've seen a lot of rust, a lot of fatigue setting in, playing a late game, went into overtime. You know what I'm saying? A lot of primetime game. And I think you've just seen a little bit of rustiness. So I think our defense will play better. Our secondary will play better. I think our rush will get home, causing a lot of issues. Baker Mayfield is a lot shorter of a quarterback. He's a lot smaller in his stature than Matt Stafford was. So when that pocket does start to collapse around him, he can't stand in there the way that Stafford did against us and really just fling the ball. Although a talented passer doesn't have the arm that Matt Stafford doesn't have the oomph on it, doesn't have the push on it that he can get. So, unless Baker Mayfield is able to escape the pocket, which he has been able to do pretty regularly in his career, he is athletic, although not necessarily a dual threat at this point. He will scramble for a little bit and be able to make plays on the move, but collapse the pocket in around him, really make him feel the pressure, get home, make him throw off platform, take advantage of poor timing, take advantage of bad decision making, take advantage of you can get to Baker Mayfield a little bit and kind of screw with his brain, and it will kind of start to mess with them a little bit. So if we can knock him off platform a couple of times, if we can get, like we had last year or last week, 27 pressures and 12 hits on Baker Mayfield, he's going to be a little sore afterwards. And maybe his decision-making isn't as good as fucking Matt Stafford's was. Maybe he holds on to the ball just a cunt hair longer, and that allows Hutch to get home for a couple 2-3 sacks. You know what I'm saying? Because I called early on that Aiden Hutchinson is going to set the single-season sack record of 24, so he's got 23 more to go this year. Does St. Brown, does Amon-Ra have a bounce-back game? So I've been thinking about it all week. When you look at, we've been talking about the cover 2 shell defense that teams like to run to prevent plays over the top. So because defenses run that so regularly, we were able to see Amon-Ra and Sam Laporta really eat in the middle of the offense the past, really last year, but Amon-Ra has made himself a nice little career working in the middle of the field, really getting a lot of scrapes on crossing routes, being able to get free and then have a lot of production after the catch. That is mostly because obviously teams have been running a too high cover shell, or a cover 2 shell defense over the top to stop the big plays. So you start to bring guys in and really load up the box, and that then mitigates what Amon-Ra does really well, work the middle of the field. Knowing that J-Mo had such a big game last week, as well as doing the exact same thing to the Bucs last year, they're probably going to back off a little bit, open up the middle of the field a little bit, and allow Amon-Ra. Because last year when we played the Bucs, the reason we had to go over the top is because the Bucs were playing down in the box, preventing Amon-Ra from having those drag routes, those crossing routes, those intermediate routes that he does so well with the yak, because he's, again, a very physical runner when he gets the ball. So they're going to be, however the Bucs want to deploy a defense short of just blitzing us every single play, are the backs able to pick it up? Todd Bowles does like to come up with some very creative blitz packages. So if they go cover 2 shell, right, then J-Mo can't eat, Amon-Ra eats. If they load the box, then Amon-Ra can't eat and J-Mo eats, which is a very unique position that the Detroit Lions find themselves in, something that we have built this team for, in that whatever defense you try to deploy, we have a player or two that can exploit whatever weaknesses of that defense. We know there's no perfect defense, right? When we have all the weapons in our toolbox to be able to take advantage of that. Notably, active this week because Isaiah Williams is out. We have activated, obviously, TK85. TK85 is going to get his run this week. He's on the active roster. And Fireball Tim Patrick makes his debut with the Detroit Lions. So we get that big body red zone threat. How many reps does he get? How many routes does he run? How often is he going to be targeted? Maybe you see him get, I don't know, 20, 30 some routes being able to run. Does he come in and play that 4 wide receiver? Does Leaf get a little bit of relaxation? Does this give us a little bit more toys to play with in Ben Johnson's toolbox? I like to think that it now makes a very valuable and very targetable red zone threat with Fireball Tim Patrick being on the field. I don't know if he's even going to be targeted, but hey, I like the flexibility in our offensive game plan, our tools that are at our disposal. Like I just said, we have a now tool to fix any problem. Fireball Tim Patrick opens that up. So not only do you now can't stop over the top, you can't stop in the middle. Now you have to deal with a big bodied wide receiver that can just go up and get the ball, right? Hopefully he can stay healthy if he goes up and gets the ball and the knees hold up. You know what I'm saying? But amon-ra last week had 3 catches for 13 yards on 6 targets. Yeah, although not productive, you still seen him out there being productive, right? I keep bringing back that catch that he made, or that swat down that he made coming across the field. I want to say middle of the third quarter, where Goff tried to target him and the ball was thrown off platform and a little out of his reach. I think he slipped a little bit as well, so it was a nice combination of everything. But you seen him hustle to get back and swat the ball down that was clearly going to be intercepted. So that was a big hustle play for amon-ra. I think amon-ra pushes 100 yards. I think we see an amon-ra coming out party. I think you see just, honestly, if I'm being honest, guys, I can't stop but just chug the fucking Lions Kool-Aid. I think we're just going to see an absolutely dominant offensive performance. I think we pick up right where we left off in overtime last week. We come out physical, pound the rock, really get up in the face of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You know, they're traveling all the way up here, so they're already going to be a little off kilter. They're going to be an incredibly hostile forward field. Perfect opportunity to come out and just punch him in the mouth and just keep punching him in the mouth. Don't let up, right? Don't play down to your opponent. And for the love of God, please, can we score a touchdown in the third quarter? If we can break that issue of not scoring in the third quarter, heading into the fourth quarter, then you can start to let up a little bit if you have a comfortable lead. Then you can really start to pound the rock. Maybe we're up so much that you see a little bit of a Sione Vaki get deployed in the backfield. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be just awesome if we were up so much that you see a little Sione Vaki? Wouldn't it be awesome if we're up like 42-7 come the start of the third quarter and you just see Hook and Sione Vaki get a bunch of run in the fourth quarter just to really, you know, season them a little bit to the speed of the game and an actual NFL regular season game. I just think that'd be nuts. So I expect a bounce back performance this week by amon-ra. Literally all this to say, amon-ra is going to have his. Laporte is going to get a TD. Monty and Gibbs both going to push for 100 yards of production on the day. Production, I mean receiving and rushing, and they're both going to get a touchdown. Goff goes for 220, 250. 1 or 2 touchdowns. I think you're going to see Jared Goff be more of I don't want to say victim of, but a culprit, someone who is hindered by the switch in defenses to mitigate passing attacks. You're going to see, obviously, our team is designed and built to run the rock first. And why not let Jared Goff take advantage of that? We know that Jared Goff in his career is extremely successful when he has a running game that can take the pressure off of him. We've seen it last year with the Lions, and we also seen it when he made his Super Bowl run with the LA Rams. Obviously, all he did was hand the ball off to Todd Gurley until the tires fell off of Todd Gurley, right? They literally rode Todd Gurley all the way to the Super Bowl. That is how you take advantage of. That's how you set Jared Goff up for success. You also keep him home here in Ford Field where the fans love him. He can basically do no wrong. Jared Goff has a real short memory, which is something you love to see on a quarterback. The big issue with the Lions offense last week was third downs. We had 4 3-and-outs last week, and that is not something that we can do. Although the Bucs offense is not as explosive as ours, in my opinion, we have to take advantage of their injuries on defense. Winfield is out. I'm still waiting to see if Kalijah Cansey is out. I keep missing the Bucs inactives. Can we take advantage of their secondary being banged up? Can we take advantage of their front seven being banged up? Can we just get in their face of them? Can we just be physical? I like to think so. Tampa's kind of limping into this game where, yes, we do have injuries, but we have a massive piece coming back in DJ Reader, so we're technically getting a little bit healthier. You also see Fireball Tim Patrick getting elevated to the practice or off the practice squad of the regular 53-man roster, which bodes well. That makes our wide receiver room getting healthier, bigger, faster, and stronger. So can we get off the field on third down, or can we continue to maintain drives when we hit the third down, the third and fours? Can we convert those so that we're not having to go for it on fourth down? Because Tampa last week was 9-13 on third downs, which is, they actually led the NFL in third down conversions with a 69%, nice, 69.2%. So if we can convert third downs, which again I think we're gonna be able to do, because as I've laid out everything before us, that short of Todd Bowles blitzing us like a maniac constantly and being able to disguise something that supposedly Jared Goff has never seen, I think we're able to take advantage of. I think Ben Johnson is the smartest offensive mind in football right now. He's able to figure things out, tweak things a little bit. He needs a couple of plays. Once we get out of the scripted stuff, he already knows that you're kind of deploying based on the positioning. Jared Goff runs a ton of motion. Jared Goff in the offense runs a ton of motion, which gives him the ability to diagnose the defense, what they're trying to deploy at him, what he's going to run into, where you're going to be. He makes a lot of pre-snap adjustments because as he gets older and smarter, he sees more and more. He knows what he's trying to do, and he is just an extension of Ben Johnson on the field. So that's about it, I think. That's all we really need to. About 12:30. So I know we were going to say we were going to go to about 12:45, but I'm thinking we kind of wrap this up here pretty soon. So do I think the Lions win? Oh, 100% I think the Lions win. Do I think we go over 51? I think the over-under was like 51, something like that. I think we go well over the 51 and a half point total. I think the Lions are going to drop a nice 30-plus points on the Bucs. I'm really hell-bent on this 31-17 score. I just see our defense really playing well. Anzalone's going to come out and play with his hair on fire. Jack Campbell's going to continue to quietly have a productive game. Barnes is going to be able to add a dynamic that the offensive line isn't accounting for, with a little bit more of a faster, quicker step, a different dynamic, someone that they haven't really been practicing for. They've probably been practicing more for, say, a Marcus Davenport. Does James Houston, is he even active? I couldn't see if he was active, inactive. Does he make any production? Who steps up for Marcus Davenport? I think Pascal steps up, has a nice game. DJ Reader makes his presence known. What we'll finally be able to see is what our defensive line is able to do with a big body, just massive force in the middle, allowing our talented defensive line players to be in more one-on-one matchups, because although, Aiden Hutchinson aside, we do have talented players on defense with Lee McNeil and Josh Pascal. Does this unlock those guys? I think it does. I think Baker's going to walk into a hostile situation that he's not quite. I haven't even drank any of this beer. Is going to walk into a hostile situation that he's not really prepped for, not really ready for. He thought last year in the playoffs was crazy. Well, you better get ready, because the Motor City's coming hot and heavy for you, bud. All right, so Lions get the big W. Move to 2-0. Sitting comfortably at the number one spot in the NFC North, because short of the Vikings being able to replicate what they did last week against a terrible Giants defense, I really don't see the Bears being able to beat the Texans or the Strouds this week. The Packers, who knows what they're going to be able to do without Jordan Love. I think the Lions this is our opportunity to really strike while the iron's hot and really take a nice commanding lead in the NFC North. So Lions win, big W coming in. Goff goes for over 200. Our offense is just absolutely electric. So that's going to be it for me. You guys have been an attentive audience. I've been Hat and Beard. Banga banga for Goff.